Ladies and gentlemen, today I had the first major problem with my C8 Corvette DCT transmission, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Hello everyone and welcome back to Brink of Speed. Today I want to talk to you about my C8 Corvette. I've been having some minor issues with the transmission, and then last night I had a pretty major issue with the DCT dual clutch transmission. So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk to you guys about the 7,000 miles that I've put on my car now and what that means. What my car has been like from 0 to 7,000, and also that it needs a new oil change like you saw in the very beginning. And so that's basically what I want to talk about today. I'm going to jump in the beautiful Captain America C8 and we're going to go for a ride, and I'm going to tell you all about the issues that I've been having with the DCT. So let's get going. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I briefly want to talk about my 7,000 miles that I put on this car and what that experience has been like, and just give you guys an overall kind of review of those first 7,000 miles. Now, you guys saw my review of 4,000 miles just really about a month and a half ago. I put that video out. And yes, I am already to 7,000. Now, if you saw my Colorado video where I traveled to Colorado and back in this car, you'll understand why I was able to hit another 3,000 miles so quickly. But basically, the other 3,000 miles have been fairly similar to the first 4,000 miles. There haven't really been any changes in the way the car drives. I didn't really expect there to be. I'm sure you didn't expect there to be, but I think the only things that I've noticed are with the number one subject that we're going to talk about today, and that's the transmission. Now, there was some huge speculation in the very beginning with this car, even before it came out, that because this was the first time that Chevrolet had ever done a dual clutch transmission, that us brand new owners of this C8 were going to have issues with this dual clutch. And you guys are kind of onto something. You know, anybody that said that definitely had some intuition to know that there might be some issues, because I'm not gonna lie, there are some issues. Now, some of these things that I had mentioned in the past, I will bring up again. But before we do that, I just want to continue to talk about the 7,000 miles, because one of the things that has popped up that is kind of interesting is you know, an 8% oil life left on this vehicle with, it was like 6,800 miles, and all of a sudden it popped up and said you need to get your oil changed. Now that kind of threw me for a loop, because I thought it was 7,500 miles. So I do need to get this in ASAP to get the oil changed. So that was kind of interesting. I figured I could go a full 7,500 miles, but I don't think that's going to be good for the motor to go a full 7,500 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and take it into Classic and get it done immediately. So other than, you know, the transmission and the engine oil, really, I'm super pleased with the way that this car has responded to 7,000 miles. It has done a fantastic job. I have zero complaints on really anything else. Everything has worn just fine. The leather, you know, the steering wheel, my armrests, where my arm are resting, you know. As far as the paint goes, it's covered, so I can't tell you about that, but I do have paint protection over the wrap, which, by the way, I'm gonna shout out a couple of companies. I haven't done it in a long time, but STG Wraps in Lancaster, Texas is who designed and printed this Captain America wrap. So if you ever need anything, make sure to contact Ed. All of his contact info will be in the description below. And then him and John from Scott Solar Auto Spa teamed up to put the wrap on. And Scott Solar Auto Spa is located over in Arlington, Texas, and all his information will be below. Now, the difference between the two guys is Ed concentrates on wraps only. He also will do artwork for people, business cards, merch, things like that. Whereas John is mainly window tint and expel. He will do some wrap, you know, items on a car. He doesn't like to do a full wrap. And he'll do paint protection, ceramic, you know, coating, things like that. You know, correct the paint on your car. He does things like that. So huge shout out to both of those guys. But, you know, all of that is on this car, so I haven't had to worry about anything as far as my paint goes. The inside of the car is, you know, beautiful, wearing perfectly. So again, this car has been an absolute pleasure, and driving it all the way to Colorado and all the way home, it is my #1 road, I almost said road course car, road trip car that I've ever taken on a long road trip. It's so smooth. So let's move on. From day one, I've always thought that it kind of downshifted roughly sometimes, mainly in sport and Z mode. When I'm coming to a stop, and I've mentioned this before, it downshifts kind of rough. Second of all, I've also noticed that it doesn't matter what mode I'm in. If I have it in manual mode and I'm starting up and I shift second and third with the paddle shifters, it shifts really rough. And that has been confusing to me from day one. I don't understand why it would shift so rough, because if you don't put it in manual mode, it shifts perfectly smooth. Number 3 is when I've launched this car multiple times, it sometimes has a extremely rough shift to second, and it's a weird hesitation and then a rough shift. So that also has confused me. I don't understand that. The last thing is what just happened last night. My wife and I went to an amazing car show. We were on our way home. I was going probably 25, 30 miles an hour, and I went to downshift because I had it in manual mode, and I shifted to second, and it made a loud noise and a giant clunk into second gear. And that's what it felt like. It shoved us both, and we were both alarmed. This car has never done that. And so that right there is the main issue that I think this DCT has had since I bought the car. I said main earlier. What I meant was biggest issue I've experienced with this DCT. And so I would love for you guys to leave a comment below, especially if you own a C8 Corvette, and let me know if you've had any of these same issues that I'm talking about, especially the last one. It is concerning. It is going to be brought to the attention of my service manager at Classic Chevrolet when I take this in to get the oil changed. But man, it was reminiscent of my C7 you know, with the torque converter problems that that car was having and the transmission problems that that car was having. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's really going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give me a big thumbs up. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you've experienced these issues. If so, please let me know what your opinion is of them, what you think I should do, what you think GM should do. And again, that's going to do it. So if you have not joined this wonderful Brink of Speed community, please consider doing so. Hit that red subscribe and bell notification so that you're notified when my new content comes out. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you out on the road.